Hello, everyone, and welcome back to another episode of the Daily Crypto Byte. Today is Thursday, January 13th, and we got lots to discuss today because Bitcoin is back above 44K. Alts are looking strong. Lots of positive price action across the board today. Also, we got some pretty interesting headlines. CJ, one of your favorite protocols, Near Protocol, making some headlines today. We'll dive into that news, as well as some other news about a pretty interesting retail-facing DeFi project that has backing from some major layer ones, including Solana, Luna, and AVAX, the big three. So we'll talk about that and a whole lot more. But before we do, CJ, how are you doing today, my friend?
I'm doing well, Monty. Really exciting day in the market, especially yesterday and last night as well. You have that news coming out with Near and their recent funding round to accelerate ecosystem development. So that's going to be really cool. A lot of really interesting backers participated in that. So excited to get into that news and much more. But overall, a lot of the layer ones look pretty good right now. Phantom, Near, Harmony One. A lot of them are just looking good. So excited to get into that and much more with you today, Monty.
Yeah, CJ, these layer ones are looking, crazy strong. And let's dive right into that Near Protocol news because, like you said, it had some really interesting backers. And one thing that we always talk about is how when you're looking with these, emerging layer ones or even these just small cap assets, one thing that is super important to look for is who is investing in these assets. Typically, like using AVAX as an example, AVAX had signs that it was going to make a large move like it did, in the second half of 2021, based on some of the backers that we saw investing in that protocol. And we're seeing some similar backers here with Near, which, raises some eyebrows. And obviously the price is responding positively today. But CJ, I mean, look at these partners here, my friend. Suzu and Three Arrows Capital, they're ones that were in that AVAX trade very early. Then you got Dragonfly Capital, Andreessen Horowitz, Jump, Alameda, all the big names here investing in Near's protocol. So what are your thoughts on this? Obviously, Near's ripping, but you were early on this trade, and I really brought it to the community, so I got to give you some props for that.
Yeah, I mean, it was multi-billion-dollar protocol, so I don't know if I was super early, but I appreciate that nonetheless. But yeah, I mean, I think it's going to be very important for DeFi, specifically in China and Russia and a lot of other places. I think a lot of people don't see the full potential of Near and the activity that's occurring on it because a lot of that activity has been international, and they've taken kind of a regulatory arbitrage type of approach where they just want to be very global. Similar to Binance in the sense that, like, if a country isn't welcoming to them, they'll kind of just say, all right, we respect that, users won't be allowed to use that particular platform or whatnot. So I think that's why we haven't seen a Coinbase listing yet, as well as some other regulated exchanges in the United States. Nonetheless, I don't think that's going to stop this ecosystem development because I think crypto is a very global thing that doesn't necessarily need the US for a lot of these assets to continue to thrive. So really nice to see that lead round coming from 3AC. It's so obvious in hindsight their impact of how they contributed and supported AVAX, and then we saw Trader Joe and that explosion of activity. So there's going to be probably a lot of apps or decentralized apps on Near emerging like that, and who knows, one of them could turn into the next Trader Joe or the next Uniswap, so to speak. So interesting to keep participating in that DeFi ecosystem, and happy for all the Near holders out there today.
Yeah, very exciting stuff for Near, breaking into new all-time highs here and just continuing to look very, very strong. So, but moving on to another headline here. This one is pretty interesting and also kind of pertains to a little bit of DeFi here. But this is a piece of news that hit the presses this morning. Crypto heavyweights back inflation-resistant savings protocol. And, obviously this is topical news given the inflation numbers that we got just yesterday. But this, for me, is a very interesting article. And I encourage you guys to go check it out. But it's about a fintech startup called Seashell. And, CJ and I were just talking about how it's important to, have solid backers. They have Polygon, AVAX, Terra, Solana. Some of the investors that were early on in this project include those big names of the layer ones. And also you have, the co-founder of Robinhood, Vlad. You got Mark Cuban, the former futures trading commissioner, Chris Giancarlo. So really, some impressive backers in this project. But ultimately, let me just tell you a little bit about what this project aims to do. Essentially, it's trying to be a more consumer-facing DeFi app. So basically, like almost like a bank for DeFi. And it in itself wouldn't be a DeFi app, right? It would be centralized. You download it on your phone. But because of their partnerships with, Terra, Polygon, AVAX, and Solana, what you'll be able to do is access, the yields on all of these various layer one chains all through a single app. And, it kind of reminds me of this, comparison to the internet, where at the early stages of the internet, it was only really available to the technologically adept. If you didn't really understand how to use the interface, or you didn't have some basic understanding of, coding or computer science in general, then really you probably weren't using a computer. And some of the early things that were going on the internet were limited to those that knew how to do those things. It's the same thing with DeFi. You see it all the time in our community. It's not, there are some tremendously high yields, but they're not always easy to get into. You got to move tokens around. You have to understand how to use a decentralized exchange. There's a lot that goes into it, and it isn't necessarily the easiest user experience. It's not like using, the Robinhood app or the Chase app on your phone. And that's what this company tries to do, Seashell. So essentially, they'll be taking all these various layer one chains, putting them into one app where you can, stake on these various protocols all from one place, essentially like a savings account on your phone. And obviously, this isn't decentralized. It's kind of counterintuitive to the concept of DeFi. It's a consumer app that is centralized and has a central point of failure. But that's a trade-off that you have to take when you're looking at these sort of things, of this balance between user experience and centralization. They typically kind of go hand in hand when it comes to that sort of thing. So I think this could definitely be interesting, because as much as I believe in DeFi, which is, very adamantly, and I'm involved in several different protocols, it's hard for me to tell someone like my mom or, even my girlfriend to get involved in DeFi because of the to me, it seems like almost a minor amount of knowledge that needs to be had. But, there is a large psychological barrier to entry in these DeFi protocols. So I think something like this, something that is just very easy for consumers to use, makes DeFi more inclusive, could potentially be, very, very big. So just keep this on your radar. Seashell, like I said, it's got backing from, the big layer ones, including Terra, Polygon, AVAX, and Solana. And I think this could be, a big shift in the way people perceive DeFi and the way people get exposure to DeFi in general. So just wanted to throw that on your radar. Seashell will be coming soon, so keep an eye on that.
DeFi 2.0 and finding a way to coexist with regulators and still allow U.S. participation and global participation, for that matter. Like, citizens of the world are going to do it regardless, in my opinion. So I think what a lot of the venture capitalist VCs have kind of, or Silicon Valley VCs have kind of been preaching is like to regulators, it's going to happen anyways. You might as well just allow it so that you can still see what's going on, as opposed to just, being blinded and forcing the innovation elsewhere. So I'm hoping that they take that type of collaborative approach, as opposed to just saying, no, you can't do this. But regardless, that's going to change the way that a lot of people live their lives and are able to save. There's no point of keeping cash in a Chase bank account that gives you less than 0.1% of interest when inflation is much greater than that. So hopefully these DeFi things can really change that and improve the lives of a lot of citizens of the world. So we love to see it and hope it comes to fruition.
Yeah, absolutely. But I think that is all we got for today. Thank you guys so much for watching. As always, we'll be doing our members only Doge of the day, where we'll be doing a more deep dive into some technical analysis, taking a look at some various assets that are popping today. But if you guys want access to that, as well as a whole lot more, you can join it at the link below me, markrebellion.com/try crypto. You can try the first week for just $7. We got a pro charting service, a 24/7 chat with a community of traders from all around the world. We publish actionable trade insights with entries, exits, stop losses. We have a watch list, extensive education curriculum, a whole lot more. So definitely head over there and check that out. We would really appreciate it. But that's all we got for today. We'll see you guys on our members only Doge of the day. Have a great rest of your day and take care.